She refused to hand over her phone to prove she'd never been involved with her sister's fiancé. So her sister told her she wasn't welcome at the wedding unless she did. 4 quick, sharp stories today about people drawing lines other people didn't expect them to draw. A 32-year-old woman living in rural Manitoba likes to skinny dip, but keeps it to topless only at the public beach near her home out of consideration for other beachgoers, since full nudity isn't something she wants to risk in a shared space. Because it's completely legal for women to be topless in public in Canada, and because she almost always swims at night when the beach is empty, she never thought twice about it. One evening, a few teenagers biked past on the road above the beach while she was in the water. Not long after, police showed up at her door. By her own account, the officer seemed to know exactly how flimsy the complaint was, but asked her to stop anyway, purely to close out the call. She told them she'd think about it. They wished her a good day and left.
She's not entirely sure if she's in the wrong here, even though what she's doing breaks no actual law. If anything, she's now half tempted to sunbathe topless out of pure spite. Legally, there's really nothing to debate. The activity is permitted, the location is appropriate, and the timing was deliberately considerate. The only real mystery left is why 2 officers spent part of their shift delivering a polite, entirely unenforceable request over something that was never against the rules to begin with. From a low-stakes visit from the police to a sister demanding access to something a lot more personal, a phone. A 26-year-old woman has always been close with her older sister, who's getting married in about a month. Before the sister ever met her now fiancé, the woman had worked alongside him for nearly 2 years at the same company, grabbing lunch occasionally with coworkers and texting here and there about work, nothing more than that. When her sister found out the two already knew each other, she laughed it off at the time, even joking that she wanted to hear any embarrassing work stories. That changed a few weeks before the wedding, when her sister called in tears, having dug up old messages between the two of them from years earlier, including one where he'd written, "I missed you today," and her own reply wishing he'd come into work that day. Both messages, she explained, came from a habit of covering shifts and tasks for each other. Beyond that, their message history was mostly memes, work gossip, and one thread where he'd thanked her for helping him prepare a presentation. Her sister asked directly if she'd ever had feelings for him. She said no, honestly, because she never had. Not satisfied, her sister then asked to go through her old phone backups and social media messages herself for peace of mind. She assumed at first it was a joke, then got frustrated when her sister kept pushing, insisting that if there was nothing to hide, there'd be no problem proving it. A position her sister's friends echoed too, framing it as the simplest way to avoid future drama. She refused outright. Not because there was anything incriminating, but because the request itself felt like an outrageous invasion of privacy. Her sister took the refusal as evidence of guilt, repeatedly asking why she wouldn't just clear her name. Their mother, brought into it, sided with the sister, calling her too prideful over a minor issue. The breaking point came when her sister told her she wouldn't be comfortable having her at the wedding at all, unless she handed over her phone. When asked why she wasn't asking her own fiancé to do the same thing instead, her sister admitted she didn't want him thinking she didn't trust him. She told her sister she simply wouldn't attend the wedding at all. The math here isn't complicated. Reviewing someone's old messages can really only prove the absence of something explicit. It can't prove nothing ever happened, especially years after the fact. And it certainly can't fix a relationship already this uneasy. The actual problem was never a folder of old work texts. It was a bride who didn't seem to trust the person she was about to marry, and who decided the easiest place to point that suspicion was at her own sister instead. Speaking of family loyalty tested in real time, this next one is about a husband frozen in the middle of his sister and his wife trading insults.
A man's 27-year-old sister has a 5-year-old with her ex after turning down his shotgun wedding proposal years earlier, citing simple long-term incompatibility. The split was clean. The two now share 50-50 custody, both financially stable, living nearby, co-parenting well. His sister has been single the 5 years since. His wife has never been able to let that decision go. Every time the sister visits, the same lecture resurfaces. She should get back with her ex, ask him to propose properly, stop calling him her baby daddy. His sister eventually pulled him aside privately, exhausted by years of the same nagging, and asked him to say something to his wife. He did. It didn't stick. During a recent visit, while his sister was talking about her son starting kindergarten, his wife brought it up yet again, telling her she should get married at the courthouse, that other parents would see her as immature, her son is somehow illegitimate otherwise. Before he could step in, his sister snapped back hard, telling his wife to worry about losing weight and her own appearance before criticizing anyone else's parenting choices. Comments that landed squarely on one of his wife's most sensitive insecurities. His wife left in tears. His sister left too, and the entire exchange was over inside of 2 minutes. Afterward, his wife asked why he hadn't defended her. He told her honestly. He thought she was wrong to call his sister's son illegitimate, and while his sister's comeback wasn't fair either, it hadn't exactly come out of nowhere after 5 straight years of the same criticism. His wife has been giving him the silent treatment since. 5 years is a genuinely long time to absorb the same unsolicited commentary about your own family and relationship choices before finally snapping back. Whatever the fairest read of that 1 2-minute blow-up, it didn't happen in a vacuum. It happened at the end of a very long runway that one side kept extending on their own. Last one for today. A weekend trip, a house rule nobody warned them about, and a friendship that couldn't survive a hotel booking. A 22-year-old woman and her 23-year-old boyfriend, together since high school and living together since her graduation, joined an old friend's family at their beach house for a holiday weekend. The friend's parents were also staying there, which seemed fine at first. Friendly drinks in the hot tub the first night, everyone getting along. That night, though, the friend's mother pulled her aside privately and explained that since she and her boyfriend weren't married, he'd need to sleep on the living room couch instead of sharing the guest room with her. Their own friend hadn't mentioned this rule beforehand at all. She agreed on the spot to avoid a scene, but felt genuinely uneasy about it. She struggles to sleep in unfamiliar places and relies on having her boyfriend nearby to manage that. He, meanwhile, wasn't thrilled about spending the weekend on an uncomfortable couch when a proper bed was sitting right there unused. They decided, together, to quietly book a hotel in town instead and simply meet up with their friend the next day. When they told him, he seemed oddly tense about it, but said it was fine. The next morning, his tone had shifted completely. His parents, he said, were furious that the couple had left for a hotel rather than accept the house rules, framing it as a slap in the face to their hospitality. The group ended up not spending any more time together that weekend at all. By Monday, their friend texted again, angry that they couldn't have simply toughed out 2 nights apart to keep his parents happy, and informed them they wouldn't be invited to his annual Friendsgiving that year. There's a reasonable version of this story where the parents set a house rule, the guests decline to follow it, and everyone quietly goes their separate ways without hard feelings. Parents are entitled to their own rules under their own roof, and guests are equally entitled to opt out by simply leaving. Where it stops being reasonable is the fallout afterward. Punishing 2 adults already living together and planning a future for declining to spend 2 nights sleeping apart in someone else's house, especially when nobody warned them about the rule before they arrived in the first place. 4 different lines, 4 different people who decided exactly where theirs were. Which story did you side with most? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one. Subscribe for a new story every day. See you tomorrow.